all for coming. And those of you that are here visiting at the museum, one of the things that you never know what special event might happen at the museum. And today we happen to have a special event. So we welcome you as well as everyone that was invited. It is my pleasure. I am Sarah Watson. I am the director of the Abraham Lincoln National Heritage Area and Looking for Lincoln. And it is my pleasure to just kind of be the MC for this event today, where we are talking about some things that are very exciting for us and also very important to us as it relates to preserving our heritage and promoting heritage tourism. So what I would like to do is introduce Guy Fraker. Guy is the chair of the board of directors for Looking for Lincoln, and he's going to kind of give a backdrop for all of this with his Lincoln tie.
Yes. I never speak without this tie, and also this penny, which was a Lincoln penny with the year of my birth on it, which I'm not going to tell you what year that was. So, but they've always brought me good luck, so I had to wear them today. It's a pleasure and honor to be here today to talk about the Abraham Lincoln National Heritage Area, fill you in a little bit on what that is and what its function has proven to be already, and then we'll have other people to hear from as well. The Abraham Lincoln National Heritage Area is one of a number that have been established around the country, and it was rather late in coming compared to some of its significance to some of the other ones, but we were fortunate to have Ray LaHood pulling in the House and Senator Durbin pulling in the Senate in 2009 to create the Abraham Lincoln National Heritage Area, the purpose of which is sort of twofold. One is the idealistic, pure function to further and enhance the telling of the Abraham Lincoln story, particularly in Central Illinois, including, of course, Springfield. But the other is a little more direct benefit, and that is to enhance tourism in the towns of the circuit and of the area. What is known about Lincoln, of course, is that Springfield was his base of operations. He lived here. His law career was based here. His political career was based here. But what's not as well known is that the outlying areas in Central Illinois played almost equally an important role in Lincoln's rise. And this heritage area recognizes not only the importance of Springfield, but also the importance of these other communities where Lincoln practiced law as he rode the circuit. In fact, he spent as much as almost 6 months a year between 1837 and 1860 away from Springfield on the road throughout the circuit. That time he spent was building a law career, but what he was doing at the same time was very astutely creating a network which ultimately elevated him to the presidency. So we can be very proud of that. Now, the National Heritage Area has an action arm. I'm the chairman of the board, and Sarah is the executive director. And in that capacity, I don't have to do very much because Sarah's so good at what she does. And you think about it, here's a new agency looking for Lincoln. There's no template. Let's do that. Let's do the Lincoln story, or let's do the story of our area about Lincoln, because it's never been done before. So Sarah, from really whole cloth, has cut the function. And there's many aspects of that. I could go on forever. One of them that's quite visible are the Looking for Lincoln wayside exhibits that you'll see around a number of communities, which are very well-written storyboards telling the story of Lincoln, a particular aspect, and they're in most of the towns of the circuit, and that has greatly enhanced. When you go into a town, let's say Paris, Illinois, or a town, Danville, for example, you find the story laid out for you in these storyboards. That was the work of Looking for Lincoln. There are 6 gateway communities which is, there's a hierarchy to put this in an organized way. And the 6 gateways are Bloomington, Danville, Quincy, let me get to my notes here, Charleston, Alton, and of course Springfield. And each of those gateways has an exhibit that sends visitors out to the other important Lincoln sites in that area. So this is a very structured program to tell the story of Lincoln in an organized way in Illinois. And we in Central Illinois can be very proud of the fact that the people that were here 160, 165, 175 years ago are the ones, and those towns they lived in, are the ones that enhanced Lincoln's career and that elevated him to the White House. So it's a wonderful story. The success of the heritage area depends on a lot of people. Sarah's one I've mentioned, Springfield Convention and Visitors Bureau under the leadership of Gina Gemberling, the mayor of Langfelder from here in Springfield, who you're here from, and the other people that you're here from about this. But the bottom line is the Abraham Lincoln story in all of Central Illinois is being told in a proper way now by this institution. So appreciate the chance to tell you a little bit about it, and I'll turn this back over to Sarah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much, Guy. Now, you raised these back up, didn't you? We'll do one up, one down. Within the 42 counties of the National Heritage Area, we are lucky to have 10 national monuments, 51 historic districts, over 200 protected natural areas, state parks, and public recreation areas, and most importantly, over 300 Lincoln historic sites, attractions, and exhibits. However, we are in the, what shall we call the museum? The gem? The gem, the epicenter of telling the Lincoln story, and so it is my pleasure to introduce Alan Lowe, the Executive Director of the Abraham Lincoln Library and Museum.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you all for being here. I want to start by saying, Mr. Houlihan, thank you for being here. Thanks for all you do, and please send our best to Senator Durbin. I know he had a great role in creating this institution. We greatly appreciate for his service, and Mayor Langfelder, always great to see you here. Thank you, sir, for your service to our city. The Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library and Museum is proud to be a part of the Abraham Lincoln National Heritage Area, and I got to say, it's true. It's a real pleasure to work with Sarah Watson and her colleagues at Looking for Lincoln. I was very pleased recently to speak to her board as well, including Mr. Fraker. With our friends at Looking for Lincoln, we share a deep belief that the story of Abraham Lincoln, Illinois' favorite son and a proud resident of Springfield, remains as relevant to our lives and to our nation and to the world now in the 21st century as it was in the 19th century. Those of us in Illinois who help tell that story must partner. And by so doing, I think we perform not only important civic and educational and historical preservation missions, but we also promote economic development and tourism. And in that regard, I too want to thank Gina Gemberling here from the Springfield CVB for all she does to support tourism and to our area and to the AOPLM. The signs we celebrate today are an important way to point to the many opportunities we as a state provide for people from around the globe to learn more about the great emancipator, that wonderful story of Abraham Lincoln. So I applaud the wisdom that led the Congress to create the Lincoln National Heritage Area, and I commend Looking for Lincoln's stewardship of that important initiative. We're very excited here at the AOPLM to be an engaged part of the Lincoln community. Thank you all very much.
Now it's my pleasure to introduce Mayor Langfelder, who really doesn't need an introduction, but we are thrilled you're here, and we're thrilled that we're partnering with you.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm thrilled to be mayor of Abraham Lincoln's hometown. And Lincoln is not only the heart of Springfield, but actually the heart of the world. He's famous not only in Springfield, of course, but throughout the state, throughout our country, and throughout the world. And really, I owe it a lot to the partnerships, the connections between Sarah Watson and the Looking for Lincoln partnership with Gina Gemmerling and her leadership through Springfield Convention and Visitors Bureau, with the partnership with the IHPA and Heidi McCreary. And we're really happy that Director Lowe is here. He's brought a new perspective, and actually a young perspective with regards to Lincoln. You know, the Lincoln story never gets old, and we intertwined it within the baseball theme, and I was happy that, well, I see he was wearing a Cub and a Cardinal hat, but that's what it's all about, is how we can really break down Lincoln to all generations, because even today, young and old, we all can learn from his wisdom. It helps drive the economy. It supports thousands of jobs within Springfield with our hotels and restaurants. But really, for me, it's all about what we're here to serve. And my most favorite saying of Lincoln is government of the people, by the people, for the people. And it doesn't matter what level of government you're in, we all can learn from that. It never gets old. It's something that we can live together, whether it's, you know, within our own community or within the country or within the world. But that's something we all should resonate to, and that's what Lincoln really stood for, and that's his popularity throughout our country and throughout the world. And two individuals that was pointed out earlier that kept that connection through the National Heritage signage and connecting all the rural areas with his story was driven by the leadership of Senator Durbin and Congressman LaHood. And that's what's important. You don't lose your roots, where you came from, and those are two representatives on the federal level that have never done that, and they know the importance of Springfield and their other communities that they serve, but most importantly, they know the role of Lincoln and how he shaped all our lives and will continue to do so into the future. So we appreciate everybody coming out today in celebration of this great individual that has impacted each and every person throughout our country and throughout the world. And kudos to Sarah Watson for coordinating all this and really connecting Lincoln throughout the Illinois, state of Illinois. So thank you for letting me be part of it.
Jim, thank you. And actually, we told you we'd be unveiling a sign, and we will. But first, I am happy and pleased to introduce a longtime friend of ours, Bill Houlihan, who is Chief of Staff for Senator Durbin, who would have been here but for a few things going on in Washington. Bill and I have been planning this for a long time, and we just kept waiting to the 11th hour. Fingers crossed that the senator could get here, but we're thrilled that you're here.
Thank you, Sarah. Guy, thank you. Mayor Langfelter, Alan, your leadership here at this wonderful, wonderful museum complex that is, of all the presidential library museums, it's my favorite. It is really terrific. Senator Durbin was first a congressman, and he actually represented the district that Abraham Lincoln was elected to, the 20th district. And he represented that district for 14 years, and then he went on to the United States Senate. And when they started working on this legislation with Congressman Ray LaHood, there was also another senator that was helping us at the time by the name of Barack Obama, and he played a little role in it because he was the one that actually signed the legislation in 2009 as President of the United States. So we thank him for his leadership and what he meant to Illinois. The senator talks about Lincoln all the time when he's on the road and how important it is. And as Mayor Langfelder said, it's just not here in Springfield or Illinois or the United States, it's in America. And public servants and elected officials could take a page from President Lincoln today on the decorum that we should be using, whether it's running for Congress or running for President of the United States or running for mayor of a community. The way that Mr. Lincoln went about his job each and every day, he had respect for every individual, those that were for him or did not vote for him. And I think that's a telling story that we need to get back to that Lincoln way of doing business and government. And Senator Durbin talks about that all the time, and we are out there working with Senator Duckworth to try to do that. So we thank you for coming today. We look forward to all the great stories that we're going to be able to tell about President Lincoln, the economic development that comes from this, the tourism dollars that are brought into our state. It's just a win-win situation for Springfield and Illinois. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, a little bit about signs. Those of you that have ever tried to get a sign put up or get permission through municipalities and various levels of government, getting signs is probably one of the hardest things to do. And so what we are just thrilled to be able to unveil today is a replica of what are 12 interstate signs that I believe are really more like 8 or 10 feet by 16 feet. I don't know the exact size of interstate signs, but massive signs that announce that you are entering the Abraham Lincoln National Heritage Area. This is phase one of a whole plan of signage that will get the signage about looking for Lincoln and the Abraham Lincoln National Heritage Area all the way down to the local level, but we had to start big. So there are 12 of these that are out on interstates on the perimeter of our 42 county area, and if you would help me, I'll let you guys, I'm sorry. Gentlemen, please help me unveil. So, and you pull it off however you'd like.
Well, you get in there. This is important that you're in there.
This is yours. Come on.
Yeah, go ahead. Beautiful.
And talk about collaboration and cooperation. This could not have happened without everybody who's been here today, but also the Illinois Department of Transportation. And Rich Brower was going to try and join us today, but I don't think he was able to, but we'll say thank you to him. One of the greatest benefits to being a National Heritage Area is we are affiliated with the National Park Service, and so not only do we have a natural partnership with the National Park Service because we're telling the same story, but we also have the opportunity to take the story from Lincoln's home and that 7-block neighborhood and continue that story and tell it across the 42 counties. So indeed, Guy, thank you. National Park Service is a very, very significant partner. Do you want to say anything, Mr. Tim? Please.
Thank you, Sarah. Well, it's a pleasure to be working with Looking for Lincoln. We're down at the Lincoln Home National Historic Site, and it's just a great partnership. We've been involved with multiple programs with the heritage area that touch the community here in Springfield as well as the larger 42 county area. So again, it's just a great opportunity, great partnership. So thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming.